whenever the straight position, thing to measure the spine position. In that position, we wanted to have the sacrum, the T-spine, and the occiput alignment. So that's a neutral spine, like we learned yesterday. She's gonna put her hands right in front of her, 90 degrees, so shoulder flexion, 90 degrees. She's gonna take a deep inhale. As she exhale, she's gonna tuck the chin, and then nice and slowly curl down the neck and stop there. Good. Just by doing that, she's finished 7 movements for the 7 vertebrae of the neck. When she finished the neck, she's gonna start to curl even more to peel off from the roller. Stay there. Good. Now she's starting to work on the T-spine. Starting from the upper T-spine, slowly go to the middle T-spine, and then go to the lower T-spine. If you look in the arms, the arm is not going down. The arm is actually reaching forward. So that's why it's called spine stretch. It's gonna go forward, okay? And she's gonna continue to roll down or roll forward even more, and stay there. Good. Now, if you look in the body, right now, her lower back or lumbar area is off the roller, right? So everything, kind of like imagine her body is kind of like a banana peel, and peel off, right? Or a wallpaper, right? So she's a wallpaper, so I'm peel off the wallpaper, reaching forward as much as you can. Good. Now here is her maximum position. The arm is always parallel with the ground, parallel with the floor. So why we want to keep the arms forward, parallel? Because we do not want the body to fold. Now that's folding, right? I'm getting the body to roll forward, stretch forward. Right? She's gonna imagine there's a big ball around in front of her belly, shoulder is relaxed. So in that position, I'll have a perfect C curve. If I'm going to the side, you can tell like she has a perfect C curve. Now when she finishes, she's gonna start in from the bottom. So everything from here is still relaxed. It's gonna starting to touch the roller, one by one, nice and slow, back to the starting position. Good, arms down, take a break. One more time, inhale, raise your arms up, 90 degrees. Exhale, tuck your chins, reaching forward. Now imagine your spine is the pearl necklace. I'm always using the pearl necklace analogy, right? So imagine this is your pearl necklace. I have the first pearl, which is the base of the skull. I'm gonna pull the pearl forward. So I'm reaching the head. So you can give it the head just some of its corrections or guiding, reaching forward. She's not going down, she's actually going forward, so that her spine is starting to open up. Now, when she finishes, you can always correct. Now, her body is not perfect. She does have a little bit here or there issues. Now, I notice the upper back is pretty flat. So what I try to do, I'll put my hands right in front of her chest bone. So basically, I'm using the 2 hands. I'm pushing the chest bone in. You can tell this part has become more open, right? So that gives the body a very wide, very opening position, okay? When she finishes, I'm still pull the first pearl. So pull the first pearl there. So she's not using the head, she's actually using the tails, the lumbars, the T-spines, one at a time. When she finishes, nice and tall. And she's always imagine on top of the head is the first pearl. It's going up. Imagine we're fishing, right? You swing your fish rod outside in the water. So she's going that way, go down and coming back, follow the same roles. Okay. All right. So some people will ask you, all right, what's the purpose of doing that? That looks like pretty simple movement, right? So why do you need to do that? Why do you need to do that?
To gain more flexibility of the upper body.
Yes, okay, but I can also do that by... okay, all right, okay. So she's seeing the answer, which is correct answers. Now when we're standing, my whole body is being locked or contact with the floor by using my feet, right? So that's the last contact points. This part is movable. My knees, my hips, everything is movable. So when you roll down, if this person is not as good as you want, so when they roll down, she's not control here, she might push back the butt, right? So 它是有可能是向后去推她的骨盆的。If the pelvis is pushing back, it doesn't matter how far you're touching the ground, it's not a real range of motions. It's a false range of motions. 这是一个假的一个幅度。So it's a we call pseudo 假的这个 range, okay, pseudo range. So if I put a person sitting on the ground, everything from the legs to the pelvis is locked on the ground, supported on the ground. So whatever she's doing it is actually from the tailbone all the way to the cervical. Yeah, so basically I'm cutting the half just using the first part. So if you do have someone, they are always compensating, because this part, and this part, and this part, they always compensating each other, right? You see people like standing like this or like this, they're compensating. 他们总是会相互代偿. Yeah, so if you try to avoid those compensating, you just get the person to sit down. Okay. But you will also have another difficulties. A lot of people, they couldn't sit nice and tall like Mia did, right? Because some people may be very unflexible. If this person, when they sit down, they're starting to curl back. You will see a lot of people like that, right? Because they have a tight lower back. 你看有时候腰椎会很紧张。So for those people, if you really want to train her into that position, you're gonna have some tools, either a cushion or some foams. That, get this person sit tall, okay? Because when you get the person sit a little bit taller, you are actually opening a little bit of hip joint, right? Think about this. All right. Think about sitting on a chair, right? If you have someone like 80 years grandma, 80岁老奶奶, 80 years grandpa, they're not gonna sit like that, right? Even you give her or him some little chair, they wouldn't be able to do it. But they can do this. They can sit on the chair. Because when you sit on the chair, take a look at my hip. This is almost fully extended, right? It's almost similar as this. Standing is okay, pretty much for everybody. So if you have someone like a really tight on the hips, just get her or him sitting on the chair. Put your hands in front of you. So Mia will put her hands in front of her too. You guys can try it too. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, tuck your chins and reach forward. Good. And then nice and slowly coming back. Now, just by doing that, a very simple motions and coming back, it can largely increase your lumbar health. Most people, 这可以帮助，真的是可以帮到每个人的腰椎的健康。Most people, their lumbar is always compressed. You, yeah. What's a lumbar compress? Squeeze, right? So you will feel lumbar soreness and pain all the time. If you have someone always in that pain, try not to give her any fancy movements, because the lumbar, in theory, like anatomy speaking, lumbar is more like this. In every building, you have the supporting pillar. Yeah. Like this building. Now this is a solid wall. Oh no, that's a dry wall. That one probably a solid wall. You need, each building has only one solid wall is good enough to support the building. Your lumbar is the solid wall. That's the pillar, right? Everything else is just dry wall. You do not want your solid wall to do too much movement, right? If you have someone like play golf or runnings or doing a lot of different sports or carry the babies all the time, the lumbar is taking a lot of pressure because it has to support the body. Now, if I'm getting her to put your hands on the shoulders, if I'm getting her to do too much rotations or going back and forth, that's giving her a lot of pressure, right? I have to respect the lumbar spine's nature. The nature of the lumbar spine is doing flexion, extension, flexion, extension. 屈曲和伸展是腰椎能做的就最大幅度的前后运动，就它主要是做前后的，左右能做，旋转也能做，但不多的。The lumbar can do left and right rotations, side bendings, but not too much, just a little. So if I try to get my lumbar to really work, so she has to get her hands in front of you, and 把手伸直. So she has to starting to do these motions, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward. And also when I do this one, oh, you're still folding, round, yes. So when I do this one, I'm also following the spinal opening and closing pattern. I'm not going forward like this and then arch away, right? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. You can, in gyrotonic, you can. Or in dancing, you can. It's fine, your body can do it. But a lot of people, if they do have injuries or surgeries or just old or just have lower back pain, if you're starting to do curl and arching, stop there, good. See that? So when she's starting to arching, she's pinching down, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? Unless you are starting to open it up, you're okay, and then you start to do that. For my daughter, 9 years old, that's fine. Yeah, no problem. She can do the crazy things. She can do the back bend, that's fine. But for you, I don't recommend. Okay, it's just too dangerous, right? We're not overcautious. It's just we know you don't have any spare parts for your body, right? 你只有一套零件，所以你已经不是那个9岁的小朋友了。So it's better to save that part, right? So I'd rather get her to curl back, like a really curl back, getting the core engaged, and then finish. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. All right. Now find